At the end of a long night, the dawn finally breaks, but you barely notice. You're too engrossed in your work. Your senses, surrounded by the various materials and herbs you work with, are dulled to the world around you. These materials, on their own, are nearly useless, but with your special touch, you combine them and give them meaning. Devastating explosives, wound-closing potions, or even injections that can alter the very properties of your body and mind. These are the tools you use to accomplish your work. These are the weapons you bring to conquer your enemies. These are your creations. You are an alchemist. The Alchemist is a drastically different class from many of the others in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Rather than relying on physical weapons, magical spells, or a vast variety of skills, Alchemists use their incredible ingenuity to revolutionize the battlefield and twist it in their favor. Alchemists bring a wide assortment of consumable goods that have a plethora of uses, ranging from dealing damage to healing allies and much more. While a wizard may recharge their spells every day, they can't share those spells with their allies. An alchemist can freely distribute the items they create to the party each day, allowing for a wonderful hybrid support style of play. Rather than healing a character mid-fight like a cleric, an alchemist could brew a healing potion during their morning preparation and give it to a character before the conflict, allowing them to drink it whenever they choose. But that's not to say an alchemist is strictly a support class. That would be a dangerous understatement. When creating a level 1 alchemist, you'll want to pay close attention to your intelligence. Being the alchemist's key ability score, your intellect will grant you numerous bonuses throughout character creation and beyond. Dexterity and constitution are equally important secondary abilities. Due to their natural ability boost to intelligence and dexterity, elves make surprisingly effective alchemists, but especially since no race takes an ability flaw to intelligence, there's no wrong choice when deciding on your ancestry. Personally, I enjoy picking backgrounds strictly for roleplay purposes. As such, I don't believe there is any incorrect choice of background. However, if you want to play into the alchemist's strengths, I highly recommend the artisan, merchant, scholar, or tinker backgrounds, as they all give bonuses to intelligence and great options for skills and feats. Alongside the ability boosts from their ancestry and background, all alchemists gain an ability boost to their intelligence, plus 4 free boosts of their choice. Listed on page 71 of the core rulebook, alchemists gain these proficiencies. Rather than drone on about which things are trained and which ones are expert, here is a neatly organized list for your perusal. Simply follow the list and tick the appropriate proficiency box for everything listed. Once again, I highly recommend this character sheet, link in the description. It automatically calculates any and all bonuses for you. It's worth noting that, since intelligence is the alchemist's key ability, the number of skills they begin trained in is quite numerous, allowing them to diversify themselves quite nicely. The main foundation of the alchemist's kit is their alchemy. Shocking, I know. They understand the bonds and reactions of elements and materials in such a way that they can manipulate them and combine them into a multitude of creations. They also have a virtually never-ending supply of infused reagents. These are a little confusing and not too well explained, but let me do my best. Alchemists can infuse reagents with their own personal alchemical essence, allowing them to create alchemical items after a long rest. The only catch is that these items are no longer potent after 24 hours and disappear. Sounds simple enough. But what's not simple is where these reagents come from. The way it's explained in the core rulebook is just, you have them. And that's not good enough for me. So here's my interpretation. A trained alchemist has learned how to portion their reagents perfectly. By using much less of each ingredient than the normal crafting method, they are able to achieve the same effectiveness as if they had used the proper amount, but at one major downside. The item's potency is limited. Due to the low amount of active reagents in their creations, they become useless after 24 hours. I know it's not a perfect explanation, but at least I gave one, Paizo! Moving on. These infused reagents are created each day in batches. Alchemists gain a number of batches each day equal to their level plus their intelligence modifier. Using their advanced alchemy, the alchemist can consume one batch of reagents to create 2 of the same item. For example, if I have 4 batches of infused reagents during my daily preparation, I can make 4 elixirs of life, 2 acid flasks, and 2 arsenic. Yes, alchemists can just make arsenic at level 1. Have fun with the political subterfuge, DMs. In that example, I consumed all 4 batches of my reagents, but unlike a wizard preparing his spells, alchemists do not have to use every batch of reagents during their daily prep. At any time, so long as the alchemist has a free hand, and at least 1 batch of infused reagents left over, they can perform quick alchemy. This lets them consume 1 batch of reagents to create any alchemical item on the spot? Oh, I'm in danger? Let me just quickly craft and chug this Juggernaut mutagen and gain 30 temporary hit points for an hour, and +3 to fortitude saves. Oh, also the temporary hit points come back if I'm at full HP for 1 minute! Okay, that's a level 11 example. I'm over-exaggerating a little, but only a little. The sheer diversity of saving a batch or 2 of reagents allows the alchemist to have every tool for any job right at their fingertips. Locked door, Quicksilver mutagen. Invisible enemies, Cat's Eye elixir. Hard math test, Cognitive mutagen. They are truly the Swiss Army knife of classes. Now, the only downsides, and they're not that bad, is that you only make 1 item with that batch instead of the 2 you would get at daily preparations. And the item loses its potency after only 6 seconds, or 1 round of combat. But as long as you use the item before the 6 seconds are up, you still get the full effect. If you ask me, both of these downsides do not offset the sheer flexibility of quick alchemy. It's easily one of the best tools in the alchemist's repertoire. And they get it at level 1! In order to perform any of this alchemy, the alchemist requires their formula book. Similar to a spellbook, it contains recipes for all of the different items the alchemist can create. It only comes with 2 formulas written in to start, but that quickly grows since the alchemist can add 2 new formulas to it every time they gain a level. On top of all of that, the alchemist also gets to specialize themselves into specific types of concoctions. There are 3 options: the bomber, the mutagenist, and the Chirurgeon? What does that even mean?
Chirurgeon.
Oh, it's the German word for surgeon. Alright. Starting with the bomber, it's pretty self-explanatory. They love to blow things up. They get 2 extra recipes for their formula books starting at level 1, but these extra recipes have to contain the bomb trait. On top of that, the bomber can also control exactly how their bombs detonate. Typically, a bomb will deal its primary damage to the main target and some minor splash damage to everyone around it, even your teammates. The bomber, however, can nullify the splash radius so that it only hits their primary target. That target still takes full damage from the bomb, as well as the splash damage, but everyone around the target is safe. The
Chirurgeon
focuses more on the support side of the battlefield. Like the bomber, they can take 2 extra recipes at level 1, but these recipes can only be a lesser antidote, lesser anti-plague, or lesser elixir of life. Elixirs of life are basically healing potions for Dungeons & Dragons players.
Chirurgeon
Also gain the ability to substitute their crafting skill for any medicine check, trained or untrained. The big bonus this gives lies in the Treat Wounds action. Once per hour, anyone can spend 10 minutes treating someone's injuries, and if they meet or beat a DC 15 medicine check, they restore 2d8 hit points to the target. This means the
Chirurgeon
can use their crafting skill to fix your broken arm. If the
Chirurgeon
combines this with the Battle Medicine General feat acquired at level 2, you'd then gain the ability to do this as a single action in the middle of combat, making the
Chirurgeon
a viable combat healer even if they run out of potions. Now the Mutagenist is weird. I'll be upfront with you, the Mutagenist is the most complicated specialization of Alchemist. They gain 2 extra level 1 recipes as long as they have the Mutagen trait. Mutagens alter your person. They give you bigger muscles, sharper reflexes, make you smarter, etc. So the Mutagenist plays completely differently in combat from the rest of the other specs. Typically, your first action in combat will be to ingest a mutagen of some kind. Their bread and butter is typically the bestial mutagen. This causes the alchemist to grow animal-like claws and lengthened, sharpened fangs. They gain access to the jaw and claw unarmed strikes, and also gain a +1 to athletics and unarmed attack rolls. It's important to note that mutagens all come with a drawback. The bestial mutagen, for example, may make you stronger, but you also become clumsier, reducing your armor class by 1 and your reflex saves by 2. To complement the bestial mutagen, a mutagenist's proficiency in unarmed strikes increases alongside their proficiency in simple weapons as they level up. This makes them much more inclined to fight in melee than other alchemists. Also, you can only have 1 mutagen active at a time. If you have the bestial mutagen active and you ingest the cognitive mutagen, your bestial mutagen completely wears off and you take on only the effects of the newest mutagen. To wrap up this massive section on alchemy, I want to mention one more thing. Every recipe that a level 1 alchemist has been able to take has been considered a common recipe. In fact, every single recipe on this table in the core rulebook is technically a common recipe. All this means is that these are recipes that are available in almost any town across Galarian. However, if these are all common recipes, then what's an uncommon recipe? Well, that's where the alchemist gets truly fun and customizable. Similar to crafting unique magic items, the alchemist can potentially learn to craft completely one-of-a-kind recipes. Whether they study for months on end to perfect their own personal creation, or find a recipe book deep in an ancient abandoned civilization, you have complete freedom in creating your own formulas for alchemical items. The DM always has final say in what these items can do and what level you must be to craft them. And sometimes, the DM may create recipes for you to find. An acid flask gets boring after the 40th use, so maybe you find a recipe for an impact combustion bomb, covering an enemy in a sticky substance that seems to do no damage, but the next time they're hit by a great force, boom! The substance detonates and blasts them to smithereens. Talk to your DM about custom alchemy recipes. It's one of the places you can have the most fun as an alchemist, and the only limit is your imagination. And game balance. At level 1, alchemy feats are a little biased towards the bomber, not gonna lie. 2 out of the 4 feats are specifically designed for them. Far Lobber gives you an extra 10-foot range on throwing bombs, and Quick Bomber allows you to draw a bomb from your pouch and throw it all in one action. Both of these feats are still useful for the Mutagenist, and
Chirurgeon,
as bombs are available for use by all specializations, but it still feels a bit biased. Alchemical Savant is great for identifying mysterious liquids. Instead of taking 10 minutes to do so, you can instantly deduce exactly what the mysterious red liquid is inside the flask you're holding. You even get a +2 if the item you're identifying is in your formula book. How nice. Finally, we have the Alchemical Familiar, the cute, creepy, and incredibly useful Abomination. Honestly, I wrote out the entire script about this feat, but this video is already way too long. Just go watch Basic for Gamers video on it here if you're curious about familiars. And that's about it. Your alchemist is ready for gameplay. There's so much more to alchemists as you grow in levels, but hopefully this guide helped you understand the basics a bit better. Thanks so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like these, consider subscribing. It really helps a ton. Now, I'm going to talk about the channel here for a second, but the Pathfinder info is over, so if you don't care, you can leave. Have a great day! Are they gone? As for those of you who are still here, thank you so much for your support so far. My first video broke 1,000 views in just 4 days, and that's incredible, way beyond my expectations. My plan going forward is going to be 2 videos every week. Tuesdays, I'll be releasing class guides like this one, going down the list in alphabetical order, so next Tuesday you'll be seeing a barbarian guide. And Thursdays, I'll be releasing more general guides, stuff like skills and gear and whatnot, so hopefully you'll all stick around for that. Remember to ring the bell if you want a notification right when the next video goes live. Thank you so much for watching, and And until next time, no nat ones.